I ain't got no rap beef with nobody. I ain't got no rap beef with no rapper in my city. No rap beef. And they was just, all that was just something that they heard, you know. Shit. You know, they not in the street, so, you know, their job is to report like the news. So, you know, they just going off what they heard, and, you know, so like, nah, I just cleared it up on my interview when I went up there and talked to them. Like, nah, ain't no rap beef, ain't no problem, man.
You agree with me that your grandson is substantially well off, correct?
He might used to be, but if he could make a $2 million bond, he'd be out.
Would you agree with me, though, that there's a difference between can, want to, and choosing not to?
I'm aware of all of those things, but I know he don't want to be in here, so I know if he could afford it, he'd be out.
Why couldn't you ever acknowledge 3 before or after his death?
I never, like, what was the point?
The man accused of killing Mo3 just went on camera, and his shocking statement has everybody flipping out.
They think you did it.
It's a million ways to
I know why. Those words came straight from Condontrell White, the same guy who allegedly chased Mo3 down a Dallas freeway and took his life in broad daylight. But now he's completely changing the story.
I ain't got no tattoo on my dick. I'm not being tall, and I'm damn sure what this.
This twist is next level wild. The timing couldn't be crazier, and what he just said might shake up everything we thought we knew about Mo3's murder.
But wait a minute, but people think you the person that killed Mo3.
Mo3's alleged shooter just dropped a bombshell no one saw coming. Over the past few days, the streets have been hot, talking nonstop about Mo3's death and the arrest of Yellow B, who's accused of setting the whole thing up. Everybody's hyped about Yellow B, but there's one key detail most folks ignore. The dude who allegedly pulled the trigger, Condontrell White. White got charged first for Mo3's murder, but things got even messier when he got slammed with 9 years on a separate federal gun charge. Just when everyone thought he'd keep quiet behind bars, he suddenly pops up doing a jailhouse interview, and what he spilled got everyone buzzing all over again. Mind me, I know what I did. Those words hit different. He said it cold and calm, zero doubt or hesitation. He straight up claimed he's innocent and that cops locked up the wrong man. Now everyone's starting to ask, was Condontrell White set up? Was this whole thing a case of mistaken identity? But White wasn't about to chill. He took it even further. He went all the way in, breaking down the entire case, right there on camera. Then the internet went crazy, like it always does. Somebody dropped a comment that summed it up perfectly. Imagine being this man's attorney and he's out here doing podcast interviews straight from his jail cell. But let's keep it real. White didn't land in prison by mistake. The feds put some serious heat on him. Condontrell White caught a hefty 105-month sentence, almost 9 whole years. But it wasn't even about Mo3's murder. This charge was strictly for having a weapon as a convicted felon. And that news isn't gossip. It came straight from the authorities. Attorney Chatty Meme from the Northern District of Texas spilled all the details. White pleaded guilty back in May to carrying a loaded 9mm semi-automatic pistol, and nobody planted that on him. The cops literally found the gun right in his pocket. Here's exactly how it went down. On August 16, 2020, officers caught White cruising around on a dirt bike down West Pleasant Run Road in Lancaster, Texas, and things got real ugly from there. He broke a simple traffic rule. So cops flipped on the lights and sirens, trying to pull him over, but White wasn't about to stop. He gunned the gas and took off. The cops chased him down until he crashed his dirt bike and tried to dip on foot, but he didn't get far. They caught him quick, and that's when they found the pistol. Now White's locked down, serving that hefty sentence. Meanwhile, the murder charge for Mo3's death is still hanging over him. But let's be clear, White didn't land in federal prison for no reason. The feds came down on him hard. On one side, you got Con White doing jailhouse interviews, swearing he didn't take out Mo3. On the other side, Yellow Beezy is suspiciously quiet. Let's backtrack. Beezy, real name Marky DeAndre Conway, got arrested on March 20th, 2025. Surveillance footage caught him being cuffed up, and the guy looked ice cold, straight up unbothered, like he's been through this before. No blinking, no stress, just stone cold calm as the cops walked him through the station. When that clip hit the internet, it exploded. Everyone was glued, waiting on Beezy to speak, but he stayed silent. Instead, his lawyer, Toby Shook, fed TMZ a stale line that sounded like a straight-up PR move. After he secured bond, he feels relieved to be released. That was all. No mention of Mo3, no denial, just relief. But here's where things really blew up. Yellow Beezy wasn't just casually caught up in some open case. 2 days before cops grabbed him, a Dallas County grand jury indicted him on March 18th with capital murder for remuneration. That's just the official way of saying the state believes Beezy straight up paid to have Mo3 killed. Not some random fight, not an argument, but a calculated, cold-blooded hit. Then came the bond hearing, and things got even crazier. The state dropped a heavy bond, $2 million. Beezy's team claimed he couldn't swing that kind of cash, but that's when his family jumped in. His grandmother, Alma Jean Alexander, grabbed the mic, ready to hold it down. She didn't back down, even when prosecutors started pressing her hard. They asked straight up if Beezy was hiding cash to dodge paying bail. Her words had everyone shook.
He has houses in other states, correct?
I'm not aware of that.
Are you aware of him paying and helping to support other individuals in the family and also extended family and friends?
I'm not into his business like that.
The courtroom went dead silent, but prosecutors weren't buying the broke story for a second. They pulled out the receipts, literally. They flashed Beezy's bank statements right there in court, showing he had nearly $870,000 stacked across different accounts back in 2020. They even pointed out how he rolled around in a bulletproof Denali. But the real jaw-dropper? A shady-looking withdrawal of $40,000 just days after Mo3's murder. Prosecutor Tommy Adams went all in. He straight up told the court there was a witness ready to swear that Beezy helped bankroll the murder. Adams said that shady $40,000 withdrawal wasn't some random move. It was directly tied to setting up Mo3's killing. But Beezy's defense hit right back. They called out the state for having zero solid evidence. No text messages, no shady Instagram DMs, no receipts or bank slips proving cash exchange hands. Just one single witness who claimed he overheard something sketchy.
You are to have no contact, direct or indirect, no threatening or harassment of any victim, witness, co-defendant. If it's you or anybody on your behalf, there's going to be a problem. Do you understand that?
The defense lawyer put it bluntly. You've heard no information of a text message, any communication on a social media platform that our client paid for this murder, any kind of remuneration, just this individual who stepped forward and stated he overheard this conversation. Even after all that heated arguing, Judge Gracie Lewis stepped in and made a move nobody expected. She slashed Beezy's bond down from $2 million to $750,000. But Judge Lewis didn't let Beezy off easy. She openly called him out in court for how casually he filled out his financial paperwork. The financial report that the defendant was required to file, he didn't seem to take that very seriously at all. Judge Lewis didn't just lower Beezy's bond, she fired off a direct warning. No threats, no jokes, no games, just straight up seriousness. Yeah, Beezy walked out on bond, but nobody saw that courtroom moment as a win. It was more like a loud and clear warning shot. The internet immediately went wild, breaking down every detail. People started saying, he's a rapper, 40,000 could have been for anything. The whole case seemed shaky, based on one snitch who might even be the shooter himself. And about the bond, everyone was shocked at how fast it dropped from $2 million to $750,000. That's impressive speed. And now folks are saying Beezy might actually beat the case. But nobody was surprised he got out. They were amazed at how quickly it all went down. Beezy clearly isn't worried, and he definitely ain't broke. Like they say in Oak Cliff, if you're riding bulletproof, sitting on six figures and pulling $40,000 out like it's pocket change, claiming you're broke sounds shady as ever. People started joking he better leave the country quick. Then came the side-by-side comparisons. Even Tory couldn't get bond on a case without someone dying. Wild that Beezy got one. People weren't just watching this case, they were comparing privileges and flexing power dynamics. Some saw it as straight-up favoritism, others saw it as pure muscle and influence. But in all the chaos, there was one courtroom detail everyone overlooked, a small piece of info from the judge that flew under the radar, but it could change everything. Judge Lewis straight up admitted in court that one major reason she dropped Beezy's bond was the lack of solid evidence, at least so far. She issued a firm warning. telling Beezy flat out not to mess around or intimidate anyone tied to the case. And that was the key detail most people missed. The judge basically confirmed the state's case wasn't tight yet. No paper trail, no digital evidence, just one shaky witness with a questionable story. That's exactly why Beezy walked out so quick. But just as the buzz was dying down, a single tweet popped up that made everyone freeze. Big U paid it for him. Sure, it could have just been trolling, but the name Big U instantly grabbed attention because he's known to shake things up. Big U has stepped in for rappers before, not just with their music, but quietly handling their legal troubles too. He's connected in ways most people don't even know about. For years, he's been making moves behind the scenes, quietly and effectively. If Beezy needed someone to secretly come through and drop that massive $750,000 bail, Big U's definitely the guy who could make that happen. He values street loyalty deeply, and Beezy's an Oak Cliff native. Beezy's out now, quiet as ever. But MO3's gone for good, shot down in broad daylight, in the middle of freeway traffic. Beezy walked out of court easy, but MO3 never got to walk away from that deadly chase. The murder and their beef had already lit things up online, especially after that shocking bond reduction. But just hours later, College Kid posted something that totally flipped the narrative. This wasn't fresh news or court drama. It was throwback studio footage. Mo3 and Yellow Beezy standing shoulder to shoulder, chilling, laughing, no threats, no tension, just two Dallas rappers kicking it like they never had issues. That short clip confused everybody. Because if that's all you'd ever seen, you'd swear they were cool. Maybe not besties, but definitely not enemies. Then came the chilling freeway footage. Mo3 stranded in traffic on I-35. Suddenly, he bolts from his car, sprinting desperately across the lanes like he's dodging death itself. Right behind him, a man gripping a pistol. Seconds later, it's over. Mo3's hit and killed right there, middle of the freeway, bright daylight. Online, people still can't agree on why Mo3 jumped out in traffic. Some claim he heard gunshots first, others say his tire got hit, then one post laid it all out clearly. Witnesses said the shooter was already firing, and killers rolled deep in multiple cars that day. Another person straight up said the killers deliberately shot out Mo3's tire to trap him. That sounds way too planned to be random. It sounded like a straight-up setup, like someone carefully planned every single move, right down to causing the crash. Then the hard evidence dropped, and numbers don't lie. Phone records revealed Beezy and Keon White were hitting each other nonstop, constant contact the day before Mo3 got killed, and even more calls the morning it all went down. Cell tower pings put their phones suspiciously close to where Mo3 was staying that night, and again, right near the freeway spot where Mo3 was shot. Prosecutors didn't play games. They laid it out clearly. This wasn't some random beef. It was an organized hit. They openly accused Beezy of masterminding everything. He made the calls, put up the cash, and plotted the whole thing. The phone records, the cash withdrawal, the locations. Everything pointed directly at Beezy. But just when everyone thought they had the story nailed, things flipped again, this time over a woman. The Shade Room broke it down, reporting Mo3 had just left a woman's house that same morning. He already knew something was off, felt eyes watching him, and it creeped him out enough to stop at a gas station, hoping to shake the suspicious car trailing him. But it didn't work. Same whip stayed locked onto him, same relentless pressure. Mo3 hopped back on I-35, trying to outrun them, but that's exactly when everything spiraled out of control. The chase, the sudden crash, and Mo3's desperate run for his life, TMZ dropped even more chilling details. Mo3 was desperately trying to get away from his alleged killers moments before he was fatally shot on a Dallas freeway. Mo3 reportedly jumped from his car and took off, literally running for his life, until a bullet tragically hit him in the back of the head. Police never officially named the woman Mo3 had visited, but fans online didn't even need that. They had their theories ready to go. Most were convinced she had ties straight to Beezy's crew. Nobody proved that, but nobody denied it either. That silence let the rumors spread even faster, with people quickly connecting dots on their own. Then, finally, Beezy broke his silence. He sat down with the lamp channel, calm and cold-faced. No shouting, no excuses, just dropping one chilling line. Certain needs to be addressed, certain don't. Stop attaching me to all that shit. because it ain't got nothing to do with me. He delivered it like he'd been rehearsing it for months. But that one statement didn't stop the gossip. In fact, it fueled people to dig even deeper, especially now that Beezy himself was locked up. His face was plastered all over the blogs, with everyone asking the same questions again and again. How did things really spiral this far out of control? What was the real spark behind all this chaos? Because one thing was crystal clear. None of this drama exploded overnight. This wasn't just about one argument or some petty diss track. This tension had been simmering for years. Mo3 and Beezy were both from Oak Cliff, the same side of Dallas where repping your block means something. Over there, you're either respected or you're tested. There's no in-between. Things started getting real messy back in 2017. That's when comedian Roy Lee, who was tight with Mo3, began clowning Beezy publicly. And he wasn't subtle about it either. Roy questioned Beezy's street credentials, straight up doubting if he really repped Oak Cliff like he claimed. Roy made it clear whose side he was on, and it wasn't Beezy's. That's when things went from rap to personal, then it got deadly. On September 25th, 2018, Roy Lee was shot in a North Dallas parking lot. He didn't die on the spot, he fought for weeks. But on October 13th, he passed away. Doctors said a blood clot from the bullet wound was what ended it. But here's where the timing got real suspicious. Just one day after Roy died, on October 14th, Beezy got caught in a drive-by. He was hit with 8 bullets in Louisville. He survived. But let's be real, that timing didn't feel like a coincidence. Mo3 didn't respond with bullets. He came with bars. In 2019, he dropped straight-up diss tracks aimed right at Beezy. No sneak disses, no coded messages, just raw shots, naming names and making it known there was no peace between them. 2 19-inch dropped on Roy Lee's birthday, and Mo3 didn't hold back. In that track, he pointed the finger straight at Beezy, blaming him for Roy Lee's death. Twitter caught the message instantly. One tweet laid it out crystal clear. The Mo3 and Yellow Beezy feud turned deadly after Beezy ducked a fade from Mo3's friend, Roy Lee. Lee was later killed, which set off a chain of incidents in the city. Even Reddit started piecing it together. One user posted, "Yeah, I know Mo3's ego started getting big and he was talking a lot online. Just didn't know if that's what actually got him killed." People weren't looking at this like rap beef anymore. This was bigger. This was about pride, street rep, and deep emotions. It had names, faces, and real blood behind it. Once that fire got lit, no one stepped in to put it out. It just kept growing. Nobody backed down. No one made peace. Then fast forward to 2024, Beezy shows up on Can I Vent? And for the first time, someone finally asked the one question everybody's been dying to hear answered. The elephant in the room, the moment of truth was coming, and people were locked in, ready for whatever came out of Beezy's mouth next. Beezy started with a shrug, but then he dropped a bomb. He said Mo3 was jealous, bitter about his come up. That line hit different. Suddenly, the whole beef felt heavier. This wasn't just 2 rappers throwing shots in music. This was personal. Real hate, real emotions, boiling under the surface of all those interviews and tracks. It sounded like envy had been fueling the tension from the jump. But just when people thought Beezy was finally keeping it real, he flipped it, switched the vibe entirely. Now he was saying there was no beef at all. First it's Mo3 was bitter, next it's, nah, we were cool. The back and forth had folks confused. Was it real or not? And then came the wildest twist of all. Just when everyone expected Beezy to stay ice cold and distant, he shocked the room. He gave Mo3 props. Yeah, for real. Beezy actually showed Mo3 some respect. No sneak disses, no sarcasm, no slick lines, just genuine words. A rare moment. Probably the only time Beezy ever publicly said anything positive about Mo3. No hate, no drama, just a quick flash of honesty that had everybody doing a double take.
That was a big impact for him, like on the whole city.
But Mo3 had his own receipts on camera too. Right after Beezy got shot in 2018, hit 3 times while driving, everybody was watching to see how Mo3 would react. And his response?
I gotta stay out the way.
Okay.
Shit, real out here, shit. Getting hit up every day out here, like. It's the world.
Zero filter, no fake love, no sympathy, no sugarcoating, just that raw, straight-up Mo3 energy. And he stood on it. Not a blink, not a second guess. He meant every word. Then a different kind of clip started making rounds. Mo3 finally sat down and addressed the talk. Every rumor, every blog post, all the mess floating around, he claimed none of it was real. According to him, the so-called beef was all made up by outsiders, people not even connected to the streets. But here's the thing, the music told another story. All the diss tracks, the sneak disses, the lawsuits, the shady Instagram posts.
These records would correspond to the exact amount which the state's witness would testify to.
The side comments in interviews, it was everywhere. If that wasn't beef, it was something dangerously close. The tension was too thick, too consistent to be just made-up drama. While fans online were still arguing over who started what, who hated who first, Beezy had his own storm brewing. His rap sheet was getting longer, charge after charge, arrest after arrest. It was like he was dropping court cases the same way he dropped mixtapes, one after another with no pause. Beezy wasn't just making noise and music anymore. His name was popping up for all the wrong reasons. Back on February 14th, 2021, he got arrested in Dallas. The charge? Unlawful possession of a firearm. He didn't sit long. He was out the same day. But it was the first clear sign that legal trouble was starting to cling to him like a shadow. Then came August 11th, 2021, another arrest. This time, drugs and weapons. Nobody said what kind of drugs, and the weapon wasn't revealed either. But the fact it happened again kept Beezy's name buzzing in all the wrong circles. His image was starting to feel sticky. Hard to separate the artist from the charges. But the real storm hit that November. On November 5th, 2021, Beezy got picked up in Plano, Texas. This time, it blew up instantly. The charge? Sexual assault, with another weapons charge on top. This wasn't just local news, it was everywhere. His name flooded headlines, blog posts, Instagram pages, and tweets for weeks. Now here's the truth, that charge didn't stick. It was dismissed in June 2022, no conviction. But this is the internet. Folks forget dropped charges. They remember the mugshot. That image stuck around way longer than the facts ever did. Then Beezy popped up again in July 2024. But this time, it wasn't jail. It was court, a whole different kind of drama. His name got tied up in a lawsuit linked to Chris Brown. 4 men filed it in Harris County, claiming they were invited to a VIP event during Chris Brown's show at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. They said things went left real fast. The 4 men in that lawsuit claimed they got jumped by Chris Brown's crew. And guess whose name popped up in the mix? Yellow Beezy. That's right. According to them, Beezy was part of it. But his lawyer wasted no time firing back. He told the Shade Room plain and simple. Yellow Beezy wasn't involved in any incident, had zero contact with the plaintiffs, and had no idea why his name was even in the lawsuit or that restraining order. The whole thing, they said, was filed before anyone bothered to get the full story. Still, it added yet another situation to Beezy's growing list. Guns, assaults, and now lawsuits tied to high-profile chaos. One case drops, another one shows up, and after a while, folks stop calling it bad luck and start calling it a pattern. They say, it's not what happens to you, it's who you are. But to really understand how Beezy ended up in this kind of spotlight, you gotta rewind. Way back. Before the music, before the chains, before the viral hits and court cases, he was just Marquise Conway, a kid out of Oak Cliff trying to find his way. Life didn't hand him much mercy. When he was only 12 years old, tragedy hit hard. His dad was murdered, shot and killed at home. And it happened on Mother's Day. That kind of trauma, it sticks. It carves something deep into you, something that doesn't just fade away. As a kid, Conway was all about sports, football, basketball. He had dreams like any other kid. Maybe he'd go pro, maybe he'd make it big. But when the world around you gets that real, that raw, those dreams don't always get to grow. They get pushed aside, buried under survival. In his teen years, those dreams of going pro took a back seat. Survival came first. Beezy joined the Crips, not to impress anybody or chase clout, but because he needed money. He needed to eat. This wasn't some rap fairy tale, it was just real life. So when you look at the arrests, the charges, the street connections, it didn't come out of nowhere. It followed a pattern, a blueprint we've seen way too many times, especially in places like Oak Cliff, where gang life doesn't disappear just because you got a hit record. That street history sticks with you. You carry it, even when the world sees you as a star. Beezy repped Crip heavy, loud and clear, never denied it, and he's far from the only one walking that line. Snoop Dogg, Blue Flag legend, Nipsey Hussle, he lived it with purpose. Blueface still flashes it all over social media. Quando Rondo, he lived deep in it and nearly lost everything. Some artists use their gang ties to build up their brand. Others get stuck so deep they can't ever leave it behind. Just look at Chef G. He had Brooklyn drill in a chokehold. His name was rising fast. But behind the music, prosecutors claimed he was still tied to gang violence, funding hits, even celebrating shootings. They hit Chef G with a 140-count indictment. He had songs on the charts, his name buzzing, but still ended up behind bars. Same with Quando Rondo. He had fans, tours lined up, a legit rap career. But instead of being on stage, he's now serving 33 months in federal prison, facing charges tied to drugs, weapons, and a long paper trail linking him to the Rollin 60's gang. And that came after dodging constant headlines about shootings and street violence that seemed to follow him like a shadow. Then there's Big U, not a rapper but a huge name in LA, a known figure in the Rollin 60's neighborhood Crips. For years, he was seen as a leader for the youth, ran programs, spoke at schools, said he was uplifting the community. But then the RICO case hit and everything flipped. The feds claimed Big U wasn't just mentoring, he was allegedly running the whole operation behind the scenes. Extortion, fraud, even murder. The feds painted it more like a criminal empire than a youth movement. And that's why, when Yellow Beezy's name got tied to a capital murder charge, people didn't exactly react with shock. It felt like part of the same cycle, the same pattern. Start with pain, fight to escape, blow up, try to leave the streets, but the streets don't always let you leave. Sometimes the past doesn't just follow you, it walks right beside you. That's why Beezy's legal history doesn't look like a string of random bad breaks. It looks like a timeline, a full story. The 2021 gun charge, the drug bust, the sexual assault case that went viral, even though it was dismissed later, and then the 2024 lawsuit where 4 men claim Beezy helped jump them backstage at a Chris Brown show. Even if the courts end up clearing him, let's be real. Every single case leaves a mark. And when you stack them all together, it paints a full picture. This is the cycle people talk about. For a lot of Crip-affiliated rappers, the story ends the same way. Some made millions. Some gave back to their communities. Some really tried to break away and move different. But the streets, they never forget. And the people around you, they don't always grow with you. Meanwhile, the law is always watching, waiting. So when news dropped that Yellow Beezy was now facing life behind bars over a murder-for-hire charge, people didn't ask, how did this happen? They asked, who's next? Because in this game, the fall is always lurking, closer than it looks. But now with Con White coming out and doing interviews from behind bars, changing the story and pointing fingers, the whole thing's heating up again. Could this flip the script for Beezy? Could this be the twist that shifts everything? We'll be watching to see how it all unfolds. If you made it this far, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to see it, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives just like this. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear what you think about Beezy's situation.